library.
You don't lose control because life is hard. You lose control because you've never learned how to stay calm when life gets loud. Most people panic, react, and ruin opportunities not because they're weak, but because no one ever taught them the skill of remaining still when everything around them shakes. Calm isn't a personality. Calm is a strategy. And if you master it, you become untouchable in a world that collapses under pressure. Chapter 1. Calm is your competitive advantage. Think about the last time everything seemed to go wrong at once. Maybe your plans fell apart. Maybe someone disappointed you. Maybe money got tight. Maybe a message or a phone call changed your day in seconds. Do you remember your reaction? Did your chest tighten? Did your mind race? Did you say or do something you later regretted? Or did you freeze, hoping the chaos would go away on its own? Be honest with yourself. Your reaction determined your result. Life exposes your emotional habits. Stress reveals your real training. Challenges reveal whether you're in control or being controlled. People think success is about ideas, connections, or talent. But listen carefully. The most successful people are not the smartest. They are the most stable under pressure. In business, calm people negotiate better. They don't make desperate decisions. In relationships, calm people communicate instead of attacking or shutting down. In money, calm people don't drown in fear when markets crash or bills appear. They think, they plan, they act with clarity. Calm people win not because they know more, but because they stay present long enough to use what they know. Imagine two young entrepreneurs facing a sudden crisis. A project fails. A partner threatens to quit. The first one panics and tries to fix everything at once. He sends emotional messages. He makes promises he can't keep. He spends money he doesn't have. His fear makes everything worse. The second one breathes, pauses, and stays silent for a moment. He asks questions instead of reacting. His tone is steady. His decisions are measured. He thinks before acting. Who do investors trust? Who does the team listen to? Who comes out stronger? Calm wins. Let's go deeper. Your brain is wired to overreact. When something goes wrong, your mind assumes danger. Not emotional danger, physical danger. Your heart doesn't know if you're facing a lion or a bad email. Your breathing doesn't know if you're being chased or just having an argument. Your brain confuses discomfort with threat. That confusion is the problem. Calm people are not immune to stress. They simply interrupt their brain before it takes over. The first step to mastering calm is awareness. The moment you feel panic, frustration, or anger rising, don't respond. Don't answer the message yet. Don't speak yet. Don't act yet. If you act while your mind is messy, you will regret it. In that moment, ask yourself one question. Is this a situation or a story? A situation is what actually happened. A story is the meaning you add to it. Someone hasn't replied? That's a situation. You telling yourself, "I'm being ignored," is a story. A small mistake at work? That's a situation. You telling yourself, "I'm a failure," is a story. Calm begins when you stop reacting to the story. Here's something powerful few people will ever understand. Calm people are not slow. They are strategic. They are not passive. They are precise. They pick their battles instead of fighting everything that moves. They conserve their emotional energy and invest it where it matters. That is how you become unshakable. Your power stays inside you until it needs to be expressed. Let me ask you something. How many problems in your life would disappear if you stopped reacting impulsively? How many arguments would be avoided if you listened before responding? How many mistakes would you avoid if you waited 10 minutes before making a decision? How many relationships would survive if you spoke calmly instead of trying to win the moment? Calm doesn't solve everything, but it prevents most self-inflicted chaos. Here's a small exercise that can change your life immediately. The next time something goes wrong, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is the smartest move right now?" That single shift puts your brain into solution mode instead of panic mode. Panic asks, "Why me?" Calm asks, "What now?" Your future depends on which question you choose. Let me tell you a short story. A young woman I coached had a habit of exploding emotionally when plans changed. She wasn't angry, she was scared of losing control. One day, during a major presentation, her slides stopped working. She froze, her heart raced, she felt humiliated. She wanted to apologize and quit. Instead, she remembered one sentence I taught her: "Stay still before you respond." She paused, she smiled, and continued speaking without visuals. Her calm shocked the audience. People didn't care about the technical issue. They admired her presence. That presentation earned her a promotion, not because she was perfect, but because she stayed composed when everything failed. Calm creates opportunities that chaos destroys. Here is a truth you must accept if you want to grow. Your reaction to problems is often more damaging than the problem itself. A delay becomes a disaster only if your actions turn it into one. A disagreement becomes a war only if your ego escalates it. A mistake becomes a failure only if your shame stops you from learning. Calm turns pain into information. Chaos turns pain into identity. I want you to remember this line. Chapter 2. Master the first response. Master the situation. Calm doesn't begin with breathing exercises, meditation, or positive thinking. Calm begins with your first response. The way you react in the first 10 seconds of a problem decides how the next 10 days will unfold. You don't need a perfect plan. You need emotional discipline in the moment when your feelings try to take control of your actions. Here's the truth most people avoid. You don't ruin your life in big decisions. You ruin it in small reactions. One angry text, one emotional decision, one arrogant answer, one desperate purchase, one careless comment. Those tiny moments shape your reputation, your relationships, your career, your finances. One impulsive reaction can cost you opportunities that took years to build. Your first response carries more weight than your first intention. When things go wrong, the average person responds instantly. They defend, they accuse, they panic, they blame. They try to protect their ego instead of protecting their future. Smart people do something most people never consider. They pause, they observe, they let the moment settle before they enter it. That pause is not weakness, it's a weapon. It gives you clarity while everyone else is drowning in emotion. It keeps you strategic when others become impulsive. It makes you unpredictable in the best way possible. People who react fast are easy to manipulate, easy to provoke, easy to control. But the person who doesn't react instantly holds all the power. They choose their direction, they choose their tone, they choose their image. Let's make it practical. Imagine you receive a message that feels disrespectful. Maybe a friend criticizes you. Maybe a coworker challenges you. Maybe a client sounds disappointed. Your emotions push you to answer. Don't let them talk to you like that. Defend yourself. Clarify everything now. But pause. Ask yourself a simple question.
What result am I trying to protect? Are you protecting your pride or your peace? Are you saving your ego or your future? Once you choose what matters most, your response becomes intelligent instead of emotional. A friend once told me something that changed how I view challenges. He said, most problems want your reaction more than your solution. When you react emotionally, you feed the problem. When you respond with intention, you starve it. A disrespectful comment becomes meaningless if you don't engage. A provocation becomes powerless if you don't bite. A misunderstanding becomes manageable if you respond from clarity instead of fear. Your first response can turn chaos into nothing at all. Here's a simple technique that can transform your life. When something triggers you, practice the rule of 2 breaths. Breathe in slowly, breathe out slowly, twice. Those 2 breaths buy you time to think. They interrupt your automatic reaction. They reset your nervous system. In those few seconds, your brain goes from survival mode to strategy mode. You stop reacting like a scared animal and start thinking like an intelligent leader. Let's take an example from money. The market crashes. Most people panic. They sell at the worst moment. They make emotional decisions that feel like protection but become loss. That reaction comes from fear, not intelligence. The calm investor does something different. They pause, they study, they wait. Their first response is observation, not desperation. That difference makes them wealthy while others stay terrified. Relationships follow the same principle. When someone raises their voice, the untrained person responds with equal volume. They escalate. They try to win the moment. They lose connection. But the calm person lowers their tone. They slow the rhythm of the conversation. They choose curiosity instead of aggression. Why do you feel that way? Can we talk about this without shouting? Let's take a minute. That control doesn't weaken the relationship, it saves it. And here's something you must understand deeply. Calm doesn't make you passive. Calm makes you precise. You don't ignore problems, you approach them with direction. You don't avoid conflict. You choose the version that leads to a solution, not destruction. You don't pretend everything is fine. You choose to be effective instead of emotional. Calm is not silence. Calm is intelligent action. Now let's make it even more powerful. The next time something stressful happens, ask yourself 3 questions before reacting.
Chapter 3. Calm starts in your mind, not in your life. Calm isn't something you find. It's something you build. People spend their lives chasing calmer environments, calmer relationships, calmer jobs, calmer goals. They try to escape stress by changing the outside. But here's the reality most people refuse to face. If your mind is chaotic, every situation becomes stressful. If your mind is steady, even challenges feel manageable. You don't escape stress by running away from life. You escape stress by mastering your inner narrative. Think about it. 2 people face the same problem. One collapses mentally, the other handles it with grace. The difference is not intelligence, not strength, not education. It's inner control. Your mind is either your sanctuary or your prison, and every thought you repeat becomes a brick that builds one or the other. Let's expose something brutally honest. Most stress doesn't come from what happens. It comes from the story you tell yourself about what happens. The meeting didn't fail. You told yourself it ruined your career. The argument didn't break your relationship. You told yourself they don't respect you anymore. The expense didn't destroy your finances. You told yourself money will always be a struggle for you. The event is neutral. Your interpretation isn't. The human mind has a default reaction when something goes wrong. It exaggerates. It predicts the worst. It jumps to catastrophic conclusions. Why? Because your brain is wired to protect you from danger. When it senses uncertainty, it imagines threats. But most modern stress isn't life or death, yet your mind behaves like it is. Calm begins when you question the drama your brain creates. Instead of believing every anxious thought, you ask, is this true? Or is this fear trying to protect me? That one question changes everything. Fear stops being a dictator and becomes a messenger. You don't obey it blindly. You listen, understand, and then choose your response. Let's practice with a real scenario. Imagine your boss sends you a short message. We need to talk tomorrow. Many people instantly panic. Thoughts run wild. I'm in trouble. Did I do something wrong? Will I lose my job? Notice something important. The message didn't come. The message came from the meaning you created. Someone with a calm mind responds differently. They think, it could be something serious, or it could be nothing. I'll handle it when I have the information. That mindset protects their peace before they even know the problem. Calm thinking isn't fantasy. It's logical maturity. It's refusing to suffer for events that haven't even happened. It's refusing to let imagination become torture. The question you must learn to ask is simple. Is this happening, or am I guessing? If you're guessing, you pause. You wait for facts. You act when reality arrives, not when imagination threatens you. Let's apply this to money. Many entrepreneurs quit too early, not because they failed, but because they panicked before reality gave them results. They didn't lose the game. They surrendered to thoughts like, what if I never make it? What if I look stupid? Their fear was not a sign of failure. It was a test of emotional discipline. The calm entrepreneur thinks, results take time, fear is normal, progress comes from staying consistent. That one belief separates millionaires from quitters. Relationships work the same way. Someone you care about becomes distant. Most people panic. They invent stories. They must be losing interest. Maybe they don't love me anymore. Their mind becomes a threat factory. But a calm mind thinks something might be affecting them. Let me communicate with clarity instead of assuming pain. That mindset keeps love alive, not because there are no problems, but because there is no panic. Here's a practical tool you can apply every day. When your thoughts begin to escalate, ask yourself two questions. What am I imagining? And what do I actually know? Separate imagination from information. Once you do, your mind stops fighting ghosts. You respond to reality instead of fear. Another powerful habit is mental zoom out. When something goes wrong, imagine looking at it from a distance, as if it's part of a bigger timeline. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week? In a year? Most things that feel heavy today become irrelevant tomorrow. Yet we sacrifice our peace for temporary storms. Calm people don't minimize problems. They place problems inside perspective, and perspective shrinks emotional pressure. A wise mentor once told me, a calm mind isn't empty, it's organized. It doesn't suppress emotion, it understands emotion. It separates fact from fear. It gives energy where energy matters. It ignores noise. And that discipline creates a mental atmosphere where clarity grows naturally. So let me ask you something. What do you feed your mind every day? Do you feed it worry, comparison, panic, assumptions? Or do you feed it patience, perspective, and truth? Because the quality of your inner world builds the quality of your outer world. A chaotic mind creates a chaotic life. A calm mind creates a powerful one. In the next chapter, we'll go deeper into the emotional part of staying calm. You'll learn how to control not just your thoughts, but your feelings. You'll discover how to face fear without letting it dominate you, and how to remain composed even when your heart is racing. Get ready to master emotional control, the skill that separates the reactive from the unshakable. Chapter 4. Emotional Stability. Feel without falling. Most people believe that staying calm means suppressing emotions. They think calmness is the absence of feeling. But calmness isn't a lack of emotion. Calmness is the ability to feel deeply without losing control. Strong people don't escape feelings, they navigate them. Life will always bring pressure, conflict, disappointment, and uncertainty. You will feel fear. You will feel frustration. You will feel sadness. The goal is not to erase these emotions. The goal is to become someone who doesn't get swept away by them. Here's the truth nobody teaches in school. Emotions are not commands. They're signals. They are messages, not orders. You're not supposed to obey every emotion. You're supposed to read them, understand them, and then choose how to respond. Imagine you receive a disturbing comment, a failed project, or an unexpected bill. Your emotional reaction might scream, panic, defend, run, break down. But a calm mind hears the emotion and still decides, pause first, respond later. That pause is emotional intelligence. That pause is power. That pause creates distance between what you feel and what you do. Let's make it simple. Calmness is the ability to feel plus think plus act. Without thinking, emotions drive you. With thinking, emotions guide you. One young entrepreneur I met lost a major client. He panicked. He blamed himself. He believed his business would collapse. He let his emotion create a false story, and he nearly quit. Another entrepreneur who faced the same setback reacted differently. He felt disappointed, of course, but he thought before acting. He asked, "What is this teaching me? What needs improvement?" That question turned loss into growth. Months later, that failure helped him build systems that attracted bigger clients. Two people, same situation. One collapsed, one evolved. Not because of skill, because of emotional control. Emotion is like fire. Without control, it burns you. With control, it cooks your meal, warms your home, and fuels your ambition. Let's talk about anger. Most mistakes happen in moments of emotional heat. You say something you don't mean, you destroy trust, you hurt someone you care about, you damage your reputation. And later, you regret what your emotion did in a moment that didn't even deserve such a reaction. A calm person feels anger but doesn't become anger. They step back, they breathe, they wait until clarity replaces the emotional storm. They choose action that serves their future, not their impulse. Same with fear. Fear is natural, but panic is optional. Fear warns you, panic controls you. A calm person listens to fear but doesn't kneel to it. Instead of thinking something bad will happen, they think something challenging might happen, but I will handle it. That shift changes your nervous system, your decisions, and your outcomes. Now, let's discuss emotional ownership. Most people say things like, "He made me angry. That situation stressed me out. They ruined my day." In reality, no one made you angry. They triggered something already inside you. What stressed you was not the situation itself, but the meaning you gave it. They didn't ruin your day. You allowed your mind to replay it, exaggerate it, and occupy your peace. Responsibility is not about blame. It's about power. When you take emotional responsibility, you stop giving others control over your peace. Here's a practical exercise. When you feel a strong emotion, don't fight it. Just name it. Say to yourself, this is frustration, this is fear, this is sadness, this is disappointment. Naming emotion neutralizes its grip. It shifts the brain from reaction to observation. You stop drowning in emotion and start studying it. You become the witness, not the prisoner. Another tool is emotional breathing. Not just deep breathing, but targeted breathing. Long exhale, slow inhale. When you exhale longer than you inhale, your nervous system calms automatically. Try it next time your heart races. Exhale slowly for 6 seconds. Inhale for 4. Repeat a few times. You will feel your body listening to you. But emotional control is not only physical or mental, it's narrative-based. It's the story you choose in the moment of emotional impact. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of saying, "I hate that this is happening," say, "I will handle this with clarity." Your words sculpt your emotions, your mindset trains your nervous system. Your inner talk builds your emotional intelligence. The calm person is not invincible. They just refuse to abandon themselves during stressful moments. They choose presence over panic, patience over reaction, clarity over chaos. So let me ask you honestly, how do you treat yourself during emotional storms? Do you abandon your logic? Do you sabotage your relationships? Do you let fear make decisions? Or do you stay with yourself long enough to choose wisely? Because calmness is not something you suddenly acquire. It's a lifestyle of self-respect. It's refusing to let temporary feelings create permanent damage. It's choosing discipline over impulse, patience over drama, wisdom over ego. In the next chapter, you'll learn how to handle external.
Chapter 5. Staying calm around chaos and difficult people. Staying calm alone in your room is easy. Staying calm when life gets loud, unfair, disrespectful, or unpredictable is where real mastery starts. True emotional power isn't measured in silence, it's measured in storms. Anyone can breathe deeply on a quiet morning, but can you stay composed when someone attacks your ideas, when traffic ruins your schedule, when a coworker talks over you, when someone tries to provoke you? That's where emotional intelligence becomes a competitive advantage. The world is full of emotional triggers, but triggers are not traps unless you walk into them. Let's break down one truth that will protect your peace more than anything else. Most people don't act based on who you are. They act based on what's happening within themselves. Someone who speaks rudely might be overwhelmed. Someone who criticizes you harshly might be insecure. Someone who disrespects you may lack emotional maturity, not respect. Their reactions are a mirror of their inner world, not a reflection of your value. Once you understand this, you stop taking everything personally. You stop letting strangers hold the keys to your peace. Here's a practical example. You're working hard on a project, and your colleague dismisses it without thinking. You could react, defend, get irritated, waste your energy proving yourself. Or you could think, they're reacting from their own stress, not from my worth. That shift protects your mind. Calmness turns criticism into information instead of injury. Instead of feeling attacked, you analyze, is there something useful here? If yes, apply it. If not, release it. Another example. Someone raises their voice at you. If you mirror their tone, your emotion becomes their prisoner. But if you stay calm, breathe, and speak slowly, you create contrast. Your composure exposes their lack of control without you needing to prove anything. Your calm becomes their discomfort, their reflection. They either lower their tone or reveal their immaturity completely. Either way, you stay in power. Here's a powerful rule. In emotional conflict, the calmer person leads the situation. Calmness is authority. People who lose control are followers of their impulses. People who stay steady become leaders, even without a title. Now let's talk about unexpected chaos. Traffic, delays, breakups, market shifts, family problems. You can't control everything, but you can control your response. Stress doesn't come from problems. Stress comes from believing you shouldn't have problems. Life isn't supposed to be smooth. Life is supposed to test you, so you learn emotional discipline. Think of it like the gym. You don't grow muscle without resistance. You don't grow calmness without pressure.
Consider a flight delay. You can complain, argue, panic about your schedule, and destroy your peace. Or you can think, what can I do with this time? Calm people don't wait for perfect conditions. They use imperfect conditions well. They stay effective when others become emotional, and that edge compounds. Those who stay calm make better decisions. Those who make better decisions build better opportunities. Another area where calmness matters is in relationships. Miscommunication, impatience, misunderstandings, these destroy trust when people react impulsively. You've seen it happen. Two people love each other, yet one harsh reaction burns weeks of harmony. But emotional maturity says, I don't need to respond in pain just because I feel it. I can wait. I can think. I can talk with clarity, not with ego. Calm communication doesn't avoid conflict. It solves conflict without emotional casualties. Now here's a question for you. Who currently influences your emotional state the most? A friend, a boss, a family member, a stranger on the internet? If someone else's behavior can dictate your peace, then you've handed them power over your life. Calmness is reclaiming that power. It doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect. It means you respond strategically, not react emotionally. You protect your dignity without performing anger. You set boundaries without losing your mind. You stay composed without becoming cold. Calm doesn't mean passive. Calm means intentional. Here's a tool you can use starting today. When chaos happens or a person tries to provoke you, ask yourself this simple question. What response will protect my peace? Not what will win this argument. Not how can I prove myself. Just what protects my peace? That question forces your brain to choose clarity over ego. And when you prioritize peace, the smartest response becomes obvious. Sometimes protecting your peace means speaking firmly. Sometimes it means staying silent. Sometimes it means walk.
Chapter 6. Stop overthinking. Lead your thoughts before they lead you. Overthinking is one of the biggest killers of peace. Not failure, not rejection, not chaos. It's the story your mind builds after the event is already over. Most people suffer more in imagination than in reality. They lose sleep replaying moments that don't matter anymore, arguing in their head with people who aren't in the room, worrying about outcomes that never arrive. They drown in thoughts that are loud but useless. Overthinking feels like thinking, but it isn't. Thinking solves a problem. Overthinking creates one. Here's a truth most people don't want to accept. Your mind will generate thoughts constantly, but you choose which ones deserve attention. Just because a thought appears doesn't mean it deserves a seat at your table. You can observe a thought without obeying it. You can hear it without carrying it. That's the difference between being controlled by your mind and being in control of your mind. Let's break down what overthinking really is. It's a conflict between your desire to control everything and your inability to do so. You think, if I analyze every possibility, I'll protect myself. But instead, you paralyze yourself. You chase certainty in situations that require trust, patience, or action, not endless thinking. Overthinking is the brain's way of trying to feel safe while unknowingly creating stress. Imagine a student preparing for a career. They think, what if I pick the wrong path? So they hesitate. They research endlessly. They doubt every option. They wait for clarity that only action could provide. Months pass, years pass, and the job market doesn't reward the most careful thinker. It rewards the one who tried, adjusted, and learned. Overthinking stole time, not risk. Let's take another example. Relationships. You get a short message. You analyze the tone, you reread it, you imagine problems, you build emotional meaning out of a single line. Hours wasted, mood destroyed, and nothing truly happened except in your mind. A calm person sees the message, chooses not to interpret it emotionally, and decides to clarify later with direct communication. Overthinking could have created conflict. Calmness prevented it. Here's the secret. The brain hates uncertainty, so it fills it with stories. But the stories aren't truth. They're fear disguised as logic. The mind says, keep thinking and you'll find safety. But safety only comes from making decisions and accepting what you can't control. So how do you stop overthinking? Start by interrupting it. When you catch your mind spinning, don't feed it. Pause. Ask one simple question. Is this helpful? If the answer is no, you redirect. You don't argue with the thought. You don't try to overpower it. You shift your attention to something that matters, a future step, a solution, a task, a breath. Peace comes from attention, not from answers. Another tool is mental deadlines. Overthinkers waste hours deciding simple things. Instead, give yourself limits. 5 minutes to choose, 10 minutes to plan, 30 seconds to respond. You don't need perfect decisions, you need decisions that move you forward. Progress calms the mind. Action kills overthinking faster than thinking about action. There's also the practice of reality check. When your thoughts exaggerate fears, ask, what are the facts? What is fear adding that isn't real? If a thought is based on imagination, you release it. If it's based on facts, you deal with it. Your mind will lie to protect you. Your job is to separate fear from truth. Here's the most powerful shift of all. Accept uncertainty. You will never control every outcome. You will never predict every future. You will never eliminate risk. And that's not a problem. That's life. Let go of the fantasy that certainty equals safety. Real safety is built through adaptability. The capable person doesn't need guarantees. They trust their ability to respond when life happens.
Chapter 7. The Power of Silence. Win without noise. Silence is one of the underrated tools of emotional strength. People believe that to defend themselves they must argue. To prove their worth they must explain. To gain respect they must speak louder. But calm, powerful individuals know something very different. Silence often speaks louder than words. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. When you stay silent, you're not avoiding conflict. You're choosing how to enter it. You're refusing to waste your voice on battles that don't elevate you. You're letting other people reveal who they are before you decide how to respond. Let's start with a simple truth. Emotional people rush to speak. Wise people wait. Because silence gives you information. It shows you intention, it clarifies motives, it exposes insecurity, and it reveals what truly matters. Those who speak without thinking reveal more than they understand. Those who listen before speaking understand more than they reveal. Think about this in real life. Someone tries to provoke you. They expect you to react, defend, or explode. If you stay silent for a moment, they become uncomfortable, even confused. Why? Because you removed their control. Silence breaks their emotional momentum. Your calm becomes disruptive. Your restraint becomes dominance. Here's another scenario. A person criticizes you. Most people immediately defend themselves. But a calm person listens and asks, "What makes you say that?"
That silent pause before responding forces the critic to expand on their thoughts. Usually, they expose their insecurity, their bias, or their lack of understanding. Your silence let the truth rise without you needing to fight for it. Here's what silence actually does in emotional conversations. It gives space for clarity, it reduces chaos, and it reveals intentions. The more emotional someone is, the more your silence throws off their rhythm. You don't fight the fire. You let it burn itself out. Silence also protects you from saying things you would regret. When emotions rise, words get reckless. Reputation is damaged. Relationships are harmed. Future opportunities can collapse because of one uncontrolled reaction. Silence is not suppression. Silence is protection. Great leaders don't talk constantly. They speak when words can move something forward. Great negotiators don't dominate the conversation. They let the other side talk until they uncover the truth. Great thinkers don't argue with ignorance. They preserve their energy for bigger battles. You may have heard the saying, "Never argue with foolish people." But here's the deeper truth. You don't need to argue. Silence lets foolishness reveal itself without your help. When you don't fight every attack, people start to see who the real problem is. Let's apply this to money and career. If someone undervalues you, constant explanation won't change their mind, but results will. Silence and execution are louder than speeches. High performers don't announce their plans, they let their work speak. Silence is confidence without show. In relationships, silence can also be powerful. When tension rises, reacting emotionally can break trust, but pausing, breathing, and waiting for the right moment to talk shows maturity. Silence doesn't ignore issues. Silence chooses a better moment to solve them. Now let's clarify something important. Silence doesn't mean avoidance. Silence must be intentional. You choose it, you control it, and you use it as a tool. Silence becomes unhealthy only when it replaces communication permanently. But when used wisely, silence creates space for strength, understanding, and respected speech. Here's a habit. Before responding to any emotionally charged situation, ask yourself, does this deserve my voice or just my awareness? Many things don't need a reaction. They just need observation. And once you understand the difference, you stop chasing noise and start choosing peace. Another habit, practice the pause. When you feel attacked, wait 1 second before speaking. When someone asks a difficult question, pause and think. When someone argues aggressively, let them finish. When someone wants attention through drama, give them silence instead of energy. That pause is where your wisdom lives. Let me ask you a question you should ask yourself for the rest of your life. What do I want?
Chapter 8. Boundaries. Protect your peace with self-respect. Calmness isn't only about what happens inside you. It's also about what you allow around you. You can meditate, breathe deeply, read every self-help book, and practice emotional control. But if you let anyone invade your time, your energy, or your values, your peace will always be at risk. Calmness needs protection, and that protection is called boundaries. Most people think boundaries are walls. They aren't. Boundaries are doors. You decide who enters, how long they stay, and what behavior you accept. Doors don't isolate you. They protect what matters inside. Let's confront something people rarely admit. Stress often comes from tolerating too much. Too many obligations, too many draining people, too much access to your time, too much exposure to negativity. Most chaos in your mind
begins as chaos in your environment. You say yes when you want to say no. You stay silent when you need to speak. You agree to meet people who drain you. You accept responsibilities that don't belong to you. You help people who don't help themselves. And every time you do, you trade peace for approval. Boundaries are not selfish. They are necessary. The person who respects themselves protects themselves. Look at your relationships. You don't lose respect because you're too kind. You lose it when your kindness has no limits. Generosity without boundaries becomes exploitation. Patience without boundaries becomes disrespect. Support without boundaries becomes emotional exhaustion. People don't get used to being helped. They get used to you fixing problems they won't face. Here's a simple truth. You can't save everyone, and you shouldn't try. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is step back and allow people to experience consequences. Growth requires responsibility. Boundaries teach responsibility. Let's put this into real situations. A friend constantly unloads negativity on you. You're not their therapist. A calm boundary sounds like, I care about you, but I can't keep taking on conversations that leave me depleted. Let's talk when we both have solutions in mind. A coworker dumps work on you. A calm boundary sounds like, I can help with some things, but I have to prioritize my own tasks first. A family member criticizes you repeatedly. A calm boundary sounds like, I'm open to feedback, but I won't continue conversations that turn disrespectful. Notice something important. Boundaries are not explanations. Boundaries are decisions. You don't need long speeches. You don't need emotional defense. You don't need to justify protecting your peace. Clarity is enough. Here's something powerful to remember. Saying no is not rejection. It's direction. When you say no to what drains you, you say yes to what grows you. Every time you set a boundary, you're choosing who you are becoming instead of who people want you to be. People might react when you set boundaries. Why? Because the old version of you benefited them more. You gave too much, accepted too much, tolerated too much. Of course, they resist the upgrade. But their discomfort is not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's a sign your old limits were keeping them comfortable. Strong boundaries don't push people away. They filter the right ones in. Those who respect you will stay. Those who want access without respect will leave. Both outcomes benefit your future. Here's a practical habit. Before saying yes to anything, pause and ask yourself, is this aligned with my energy, my goals, and my values? If it's not, the answer is no, even if it disappoints someone. Your peace is more valuable than their momentary satisfaction. Another tool, create emotional office hours. Just like work has a schedule, your availability should have one too. You don't have to be emotionally accessible 24/7. If someone constantly contacts you for attention, validation, or drama, you choose when and whether to engage. Peace requires management. Boundaries also apply to your digital life. Constant messages, scrolling, notifications, comparison, news. These are emotional intruders. Calm people limit their exposure. They protect their brain the way athletes protect their body. They don't let the world hijack their attention and call it connection. Let me ask you a question honestly. How many situations would instantly become calmer if you simply stopped giving everything and everyone unlimited access to you? How many emotional battles would disappear if you stopped fighting them? How much peace would return if you said, "This doesn't belong to me anymore"? Boundaries are not barriers. They are declarations. They say, my peace matters, my time matters, my mental space matters, my life matters, and I'm willing to protect it.
Chapter 9. Respond with strategy, not emotion. Here's the moment where calmness becomes power. Up to now, you've learned to observe your thoughts, manage your feelings, and protect your peace from the outside world. But there's one final level of emotional mastery, turning your calmness into strategy, responding not from impulse, but from intention, not from ego, but from clarity. Most people react. Reacting means your environment controls you. Someone disrespects you, you flare up. Something goes wrong, you panic. A minor interruption ruins your entire day. Reaction is slavery to emotion. It gives your power to the situation that triggered you. Strategic response is the opposite. You take a brief pause, evaluate, then act based on what serves you long term. You don't respond to win the moment. You respond to win your life. Let's break down what strategy looks like in real situations. A coworker tries to embarrass you in front of others. Impulse would attack back. Strategy waits, listens, then calmly says something that exposes their lack of professionalism without losing composure. Your calm makes them look childish. A partner gets angry during a disagreement. Impulse mirrors their tone. Strategy says, "Let's talk when we're both ready to listen." You don't fight the fire, you remove its fuel. Life hits you with unexpected problems. Impulse collapses, complains, or catastrophizes. Strategy asks, "What's the next best move?" Strategy moves forward while others freeze. Being calm is not being passive. It's choosing the most effective response instead of the loudest. Calmness doesn't ignore problems. Calmness attacks problems with clarity, not chaos. Think of a chess player. They don't move based on emotion. They move based on advantage. Every piece they protect, every piece they sacrifice, every step they take comes from a long-term goal. They're not trying to win in one move. They're building a position that can't be defeated. That's how your mind should respond to life. When something goes wrong, you don't ask, "How can I stop this feeling?" but "How can I use this moment?" Every discomfort can make you sharper. Every delay can teach you patience. Every insult can teach you emotional leverage. Every failure can refine your strategy. Here's a truth most people never understand. Calmness is the foundation of high performance. Business thrives on strategy, not panic. Negotiation rewards patience, not ego. Relationships grow through thoughtful responses, not emotional explosions. Your career, your income, your relationships, all of them improve when you stop reacting and start directing. So how do you respond with strategy? Start with 3 steps. 1. Pause. That moment of stillness separates you from your emotion. Even 2 seconds create space for choice. 2. Observe. Ask, what result do I actually want here? What action will move me closer to that outcome? 3. Respond. Not emotionally, but intentionally. Here's an example. Someone asks you a confrontational question designed to trigger you. Instead of reacting with defensiveness, which was their goal, you pause, smile gently, and answer only what matters. You didn't ignore them. You didn't fight them. You redirected the moment from hostility to clarity. You controlled the tone, the pace, and the direction of the interaction. That is emotional leadership. And this is where calmness becomes influence. People who don't react emotionally become trusted in business, respected in relationships, and quietly intimidated to those who depend on emotional manipulation. You stop being predictable. You stop being easy to control. You become someone who chooses their own behavior no matter the environment. Let me ask you something deeply important. What would your life look like if you only responded in ways that protected your peace, preserved your dignity, and moved your goals forward? How many regrets would disappear?
How many conflicts would dissolve? How much confidence would grow inside you? Because calmness isn't about avoiding emotion. Calmness is about owning your behavior. When you respond with strategy, you stop being a prisoner of circumstances. You become the architect of your life. Now that you've learned to stay calm internally, externally, emotionally, mentally, and strategically, there is one final message left. Conclusion: unshakable isn't found, it's built. You're not here to eliminate stress. You're here to outgrow it. Life won't stop testing you. People won't stop being unpredictable. Plans won't stop changing. Calmness doesn't come from a perfect world. Calmness comes from a powerful mindset. Your thoughts will try to scare you, but you will observe them. Your emotions will try to lead you, but you will guide them. Chaos will try to provoke you, but you will respond strategically. Silence will protect you. Boundaries will guard you. Confidence will come from your ability to adapt, not from your need to control. You are no longer here to survive life. You are here to master it. And if you want to go deeper into this mindset, continue your journey with this audiobook, The Power of Not Reacting. It will sharpen the strength you've built here and take your emotional discipline to the next level. Your peace is your power. Now go live like someone who owns it.